If you've ever been stuck in a job that felt like a trap, well, let me tell you, I've been there, and this story, it hits different. The night I walked into that steakhouse in Springfield, Missouri, I was just another tired guy with a rental car, a wrinkled flannel, and a pocket full of doubts about what my life's work had become. I'd built ironwood grill from a truck and a handshake. Now, I couldn't even recognize the place. Not really. The lights were golden, the wood was polished, but under that, something was off, like a smile that never reaches the eyes. You know what I mean? That night, the moment I walked in, I caught little things saying overfilled trash can by the entrance, a flickering patio bulb, tables left unbussed. Music turned up too loud, the kind of details that don't show up on a spreadsheet but scream in the silence to anyone who's paying attention. The hostess smiled at me, but it was all surface, welcome to Ironwood Grill, as if she'd practiced it 1,000 times but never meant it once. She put me in a corner booth, the perfect place to watch the show. A Lenemy waitress, probably early 30s, hair tied back, crisp apron, but her eyes had that look tired but hiding something else too. She recommended the chicken over the steak, said it was more consistent lately in that soft, coded way people use when they're telling you to stay away without actually saying it. I ordered it because of course I did. I wasn't there for the steak. I was there because something in my company was broken and I needed to see it with my own eyes. The staff moved like they were dodging landmines. No one helped each other out. Everyone watched the manager. And every time a customer laughed a little too loud, you could see a wave of tension ripple across the dining room. Elena brought my water, and I tossed out a line said maybe I'd apply, since I'd seen the "We're hiring" sign out front. She paused just a second too long, eyes flicking around. "Depends what you're looking for," she whispered. "Not afraid, just careful." She'd been here 5 years, moved from downtown, remembered when the place felt different, better, like you could breathe. Now, she just shrugged, polite, not wanting to lie, but unable to tell the truth. She told me to try the chicken. It was safest. That was all I needed to know. When she brought dessert chocolate bourbon cake, a recipe I helped perfect a decade ago, I tried one more time. Told her maybe I'd really apply, that the staff seemed nice, the town was growing on me. And that's when she said it. If you're thinking about applying, don't. This place is a trap. Quiet. Dead honest. I didn't even react, just nodded and thanked her for her honesty. Because what else can you do when someone finally says what you suspected all along? I spent the rest of the evening just sitting there, letting her words sink in. The cake tasted like dust. The dining room, the laughter, the sizzling steak, all of it felt like a stage set. And the show was over. I knew then I couldn't walk away. The next night, I came back, same booth, same waitress, and now that I knew what to look for, it all stood out. The bartender flinched every time the manager passed by. A teenage server nearly dropped her tray. Nobody helped. The tip jar was full, but the manager handled all the cash. Every hour, a busboy slipped money into a lockbox behind the host's stand, like an offering to some silent god. Elena agreed to meet me out back on her break. She ate a sandwich, didn't make eye contact, just told me flat out, "This place isn't broken by accident. It's designed this way. Capped hours, pooled tips that disappear into admin fees, HR that never calls back, bonuses dangled, then snatched away. Why do we stay?" she said. "Because we think if we just work harder, we'll get ahead." But they never meant to lift anyone. Just bleed us slowly. That was the moment I realized I'd built something I couldn't stand behind anymore. The system was a machine, and it was eating people like Elena alive. I launched a full-blown investigation, sticky notes on the lamp, printouts everywhere, a map of every ironwood under the same regional manager. Everywhere I went, same story. Exhausted staff, weird tip pools, managers who acted like prison guards, not restaurant leaders. My assistant Marlene found double books, a fake payroll company, millions siphoned off into offshore accounts. And where someone high up in corporate was helping cover it up. Back at Springfield, the staff was on edge, random checks, surveillance, bag searches. Elena texted me. They know someone's watching. I gave her a burner phone and a list of others who'd seen the same things. She became the force behind a small army dishwashers, cooks, bartenders, people who risked everything to show me the truth. When Rick Sanders, the regional manager, finally caught on, he started cracking down. Elena was called to the office, accused of espionage, told she'd be fired, threatened with legal action for breaking her confidentiality agreement. But before Rick could finish, corporate walked in me people, with Sophia from finance, and Marlene laptops open, files ready. I walked in, not as a customer, but as the founder, and for the first time, I told the staff the truth. I'd built a trap. Not on purpose, but by forgetting what mattered. I showed them the numbers, the fake vendors, the buried complaints, and when Rick tried to walk out, security stopped him. The applause wasn't loud, but it was real. And I made a promisito, Elena, to everyone that's starting today, the lies ended. 6 months later, that same restaurant didn't just look different, it felt different. Ellen no longer a waitress, but head of employee advocacy, leading meetings, checking schedules, mentoring new hires. Every tip was visible, every hour tracked, health benefits for anyone over 20 hours a week. Managers who didn't care were gone. Bonuses, profit sharing, training, and most of all, respect. It wasn't just policy, it was a promise. I made a point to show up, not as a boss, but as a worker busting tables, teaching new hires, handing out my direct email, not hiding behind an assistant. I wanted them to know me like I used to know every dishwasher and line cook by name. One night, Miguel, a cook, slipped me a note. I almost quit this industry. Now I'm building something again. Thank you. Elena became the face of everything we rebuilt, and one evening, after a staff dinner, I handed her a folder and offer to lead the Ironwood Foundation, pushing for industry change beyond our walls. She hesitated, then smiled. You really think we can change the whole industry? I shrugged. One restaurant at a time. That's how it starts. We talked about Ruth, the janitor who stayed because she hoped things could be better, and about all the broken promises that had stacked up over the years. I told Elena, the real problem isn't just fraud. It's forgetting. Somewhere between growth and greed, I've forgotten why I started any of this. That night, after everyone left, I sat in the old booth, scribbled a note on a napkin. This place used to feel like a trap. Now it feels like home. That's what real leadership is, seeing people, keeping promises, tearing down the walls between you and the folks who keep the lights on. So, let me ask you, have you ever worked somewhere that felt like a trap or helped someone break free? I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below. If this hit home, share it. Let's keep these stories alive, because sometimes telling the truth is what finally sets us free.